Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition, I will say, of SIM9 for Inside Pitch and Inside Pitch Advanced playtest. Have not had a video for about a month now, so my apologies for that. Holidays, business trips, birthdays, all that funky stuff. So the majority of the time I've been working on this, doing as much as I can, trying to get this out as soon as possible. Still not there yet. And then what I'm going to do today is play test the game and give you basically an update in the past month. Also, to go over some of these changes. Let's see. So anyway, thanks for joining. Let's see. So what have I added? I started adding playoffs. So it does create playoffs based on the time period you're playing. So obviously 60s and 70s are different than modern day. So it knows when for instance, a wild card playoff will occur. And again, this is all based on the real time period. So can it be changed? Yes, that would be an option. But as for now, it's just going to essentially replicate what the real life, playoffs were. So what else did I add? Let's see. I added a dice roller. Why? Well, if you look down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see rare. This is specifically for rare plays. Originally, when I was thinking, I thought like all these buttons on the right-hand side, which have changed color in the past month. That's exciting. I made them different colors between outs and base hits, so there'd be a difference. I just thought it made more sense from a UI perspective. But I also thought like all the rare plays for both bases, no runners on and then base runners on could be replicated with these buttons for ease of use, and that's not the case. There's some crazy situations in rare plays, so essentially what I had to do was create a rare play button, and you can type in your rare play, whatever it may be, like your number. You roll the 1d20 and a 1d8, or it has a dice roller built in. So if you don't feel like rolling the dice for that specific piece, you can use the dice roller, and of course we can replicate that elsewhere. So if you want to use a dice roller in the game as opposed to rolling real dice, maybe you're on a train, maybe you're next to your loved one who's trying to sleep, it'd be advantageous that you didn't have to roll dice. So yes, there will be a dice roller that spins around, and maybe we'll see that today. And if we don't hit a rare play in the game, I'll show it off later. So also added a game insight service. So on the bottom, or I'm sorry, the top right hand corner, you see the auxiliary scoreboard. You see it says welcome to today's game between the Philadelphia Phillies and the Minnesota Twins. It's now intelligent. So it'll look at past performance, it'll look at what day of the week, it'll look at upcoming games, but it's the first foray into having some kind of narrative builder. So as you're playing your games, you'll see hopefully some insights that you haven't thought of about the teams playing, about the players playing, stuff like that you'd see at a normal ballpark. So this is the first iteration of that. What else do we have here? There is a new scoreboard. This is a 2024 game I'll be playing today between the Phillies and the Twins. I don't have a love affair with 2024. In fact, I'll probably mispronounce some names. But I just thought, just to add some variants to the channel, I'd show a 2024 game, and if no one watches, then I know no one cares. But mostly this is to kind of give you guys an update on the state of the program as opposed to being a true replay channel, at least at this point. Anyway, so bottom line is I did add a new scoreboard. You can see the scoreboard channel here. So this will allow us to move through the different scoreboards. This is the 1980s where it was like those little light bulbs, those little yellow light bulbs on a black screen. This was I thought this sounded better than it actually turned out to be, but this is actually the Houston Astrodome. So you can see the out-of-town scoreboard is replicating the Houston Astrodome back in the 70s. Really, really odd what they chose to show and how they chose to show it. But anyway, probably more trouble than it's worth. But this is an example of like, look, you can make them for specific stadiums as well as just time periods. And then finally, this is the new one. This is the modern day scoreboard using color, using different fonts as opposed to fixed width or fixed length fonts. You can see the right-hand corner here. The font has changed for the auxiliary scoreboard. It shows different information on the scoreboard, trying to replicate in as small of a area as possible what a modern day scoreboard would look like. And then the out-of-town scoreboard basically represents what PNC Ballpark looked like a few years ago. So as we cycle through this, this is the Fenway Park version. But you can see the out of town scoreboard is basically the inning and the score. But if I go to the modern one, it obviously shows how many outs there are, who's up, and I just hit the scroll bar, so it's getting in the way, as well as the base situation. It's kind of a modern day out of town scoreboard, so you can follow it in real time how the other games are going. What else did I do? So that was one of the recent things. I did add the rare play. I did add a little pop-up box for hit and run plays, as well as the strategy roll in the bottom left-hand and bottom right-hand corners. Those are made again specifically to help you play the game. I've played basically one game in the past month, so I am rusty as all get out. Right. I played a game yesterday. And really, what this is supposed to do, this program itself is supposed to help you play the game, take all the drudgery of the stats out of the way, help you do a replay. And what I found is there are certain aspects of any game that happen so infrequently. Sometimes it's hard to memorize them. Certainly, if you're playing tens of games a day, you're eventually going to get it. But even ground ball, potential double play. How do I do that again? Or hit and run. Okay, what do I do in those particular cases? That's what this program was made for. So I try to make it easier and take away and really make it as easy as possible, showing you the error rating, showing you the range ratings as the game is being played. So what else? Let's see. The dice roller, rare plays, the game insight service, which is the top right hand corner, which will show you highlights, not highlights of other games, but will give you insights into how your replay is going. It also is aware of holidays, so it'll know Mother's Day, it'll know Memorial Day, Jackie Robinson Day, and I guess that's kind of it. So, still working hard, so I want to get this out as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience. Again, this is not my backup plan, but this is what I do in my spare time. And unfortunately, sometimes there's more spare time than there is no spare time. So that being said, let's get this game started so we don't sit here and listen to me yak for eternity. All right, so Phillies at Minnesota. It'll be Bailey Ober on the mound, who actually is doing fantastic in the replay. He is 11-3 with a 2.32 ERA, and you can see in actuality was 12-9 with a 3.98. So he's playing well above what his card's supposed to say, or what his card's supposed to do. And he'll be facing Kyle Schwarber. 22 homers, 45 RBIs, batting 225, pretty much in line. He was 248 with 38 homers and 104 RBIs on the real year. So let's get this baby started. All right, Bailey Ober takes the mound, deals 8-3 against a lefty. That's an automatic out with an 18. That is a fly ball to left field, and Kyle Schwarber is the first out of the day. So again, as each batter comes up, sometimes it'll see something that's interesting for the batter. Sometimes it'll see something interesting for the pitcher. Sometimes it won't see something interesting at all. So you'll see the hey fans. And I'm going to add variance to this because right now it's just saying, hey, there are tickets available for tomorrow's game against the Phillies. It's going to say the same thing every single time this comes up, but we will add variance to that. Again, this is just kind of the first iteration. Okay, so here's Trey Turner, 295, 21 homers and 62 RBIs on the year. In real life, 1-5, that is a potential walk, and against a right-handed, he's a 5, so that's not going to happen. Trey Turner swings, that's a 4-6, and that's an S5. Oh, one thing, that's a base hit. Good for him. So that will bring up Bryce Harper. The other thing I added was a little broadcast button here, which gives you a little menu of all the different things that you can turn on and off for broadcasting. Which again is something I plan to do, but I know not everyone's going to want to do that. But this, you can turn the scorebook on and off, the bottom line on and off. Of course, we're showing what the player sees, which I think makes more sense. If I'm play testing a game for potential players, they like to see what the game looks like, not what my broadcast looks like. So I think from now on, I'm basically going to be showing this side of the console, I'll say. I am going to turn on the innovating scoreboard because I do like that. And then we also have some additional broadcast windows that, in a typical broadcast, they'll say Jack Morris is on the mound. He's 12-4 on the year. It'll show that. So it'll be a screen that pops up, shows Jack Morris, making his 5th start of the year, whatever, and then his statistics, and the same thing, of course, for relievers, as well as the standings. You can see is grayed out right now. So the standings will appear if you'd like to talk about, here's the current state of my replay, these 2 teams you can see in this division, so-and-so is 4 games behind. Anyway, this is a one-stop shop for all your different broadcast toggles, and if you're not broadcasting, hey, don't ever open the window. All right, so Trey Turner's on first with Bryce Harper up. Let's do the strategy roll to see if Trey's going anywhere. He is not, only barely so with a 3. All right, so Ober will pitch to Harper. That is a 5-7, and that is a potential strikeout. 15 is too high for Bryce. He will put the ball in play. That is a 2-7. That is a line out to first, and in a hit and run, which was not on, that could have potentially gotten past him, but if the infield was in. So it's an L3, and here's an example of like, hey, can I make it easier? So L3, I roll 1d20. If in the range of the occupied base, the runner's doubled off. Great. So I'm going to roll, and actually I think I probably could have used that 10. So I'm going to use that 10. Okay, so it was hit to the first baseman, and look at that. And I didn't do that on purpose, but the 10, it fits in the range of the first base. So batter lines out to first base, and he's also caught leaning, and so that'll be third out. So he lines into a double play, and hey, look, those are the new graphics for a modern day, and you can see what has changed. Well, it's more futuristic, I'll say. It's more modern day, and then also it shows due up, for the Twins in the bottom of the first inning. So the first 3 batters, obviously. So due up for the Twins will be Manuel Margot. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Ryan Jeffers and Willie Castro. I don't watch modern day baseball. Actually, I do watch a lot of modern day baseball, but gosh, bring me back to when I was 14 and 15. I could name everybody and knew how to pronounce them. Now, not so much, unfortunately. I wish I was better at it. So, all right. So here's Ranger Suarez on the mound. In real life, he was 12-8 with a 3.46 ERA. This is where I'd hit that broadcast button and show off the pitcher. But you can see here he's 9-4 with no saves and a 3.3 run ERA on the scoreboard. All right, so Suarez pitching to Margot, lefty versus a righty. Suarez deals. That's a 4-2. That is a potential strikeout, and that is a strikeout right on the line there. So that's Suarez's first strikeout. He will now face Ryan Jeffers. He is the catcher, batted .226, 21 homers, and 64 RBIs on the year. The pitch from Suarez is a 4-3. That's a potential strikeout, a 9 against a lefty. That is a strikeout for Ryan Jeffers, so Suarez K's the first 2. That'll bring up Willie Castro with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Suarez from the windup. That is a 2-5. That is a potential strikeout, and that is a strikeout. So Suarez strikes out the side. Boy, that was easy. And at the end of 1, Phillies nothing, and the Twins nothing as well. Oh, another thing. For Christmas, I got a new, whatever you call it, webcam. I haven't installed it yet, so we're still using the old C90. I don't dig it that much. I think it makes my hands look really red. Look at that. Whoa. I swear they're not that red. Trust me. So anyway, I look forward to putting the new camera on, especially when I start really broadcasting. But for now, I got that in my back pocket. Oh, I should get rid of the scoreboard. Okay. All right, so leading off for the Phillies will be Alec Bohm. I think it's Alec Bohm or Bohm. Put in the comments, am I mispronouncing it? Please correct me because I hate mispronouncing things. So Ober will pitch to Alec. I'll say Bohm. Alec Bohm. All right. Ober pitches. That is a 2-2, which is a ballpark play. So we're going to Target Field. What do you got for us, Target? 1-1, that's a G5, so it's a ground ball to Castillo. Tosses it across to Santana, and there's the first out. Ober will now pitch to JT Realmuto. He's batted .266, 14 homers and 47 RBIs. In real life, he just got re-signed by the Phillies. So he'll be 35 years old for them this year. Let's see, a 5-5. That is a range play on a 10. That is a 10, so it is a range play. Yamamoto swings. That's a 5-8. That is a fly ball to right field. Range play. F9. And I roll 1d8 against the fielder's range rating. You can see it actually shows the range rating, so you don't even have to look. You can see Kepler is a range of 5, but I can see it right here. What a great helper. Helps me out. That's a 3, so he does make the play. You can also see the home team is in the field, so a roll of 8 is a successful range check as well. He makes the play, and that is the out. So that is the second out, and that will bring out Nick Castellanos. Nick batted .254, 23 homers, and 86 RBIs in real life. The pitch from Ober, 6-3, is a potential home run, and holy crap, that's a home run, but that's a 1. So against a righty, he's a 9. That is a home run, but it's also a potential, potential robbed home run because it is a 1. So what we need to do is determine where the ball is hit. That is a 5, so it's hit to center field. So -3 to his range. He is a range of 3, so only a 1 will allow Byron Buxton to... Holy crap. All right, that's an F8. Well, we just had my literally first robbed home run here in the second inning. That is called an F8, guys. That is a third out. So Brian Buxton comes up with the huge play. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I play the game, a range play that turns an out to a hit is known as a web gem, and it's actually put in the box score. I think I need another special button, which will be so rarely used, but I need to say, hey, robbed home run. So it's in the box score. Otherwise, you never know that ever happened, which would be unfortunate, because that was a huge play. Holy crap. Okay, so Ranger Suarez will be pitching to Buxton, of course. Isn't it always the case? The guy who makes the great play in the field is always the first guy up. So here he goes. Buxton's batting .292 in the replay, .279 in real life, 14 homers and 41 RBIs in the replay, 18 and 56, so he's playing above average. And he's batting .391 in July, and here we are on July 22nd. Red hot Byron Buxton, 3-8 is against a righty. That's a potential walk. And 11, that is too high. Buxton will swing, 1-8. That is a G4, so ground ball to Stott. And he picks it up and tosses it to Harper for the first out. All right, so here's Carlos Santana. There's probably about 350 Major League Baseball players named Carlos Santana in the history of baseball. But here's another one. The first baseman, Carlos, batted .238, 23 homers, and 71 RBIs. It's a switch hitter. He'll be batting right. Suarez deals 5-1, potential strikeout. That is a strikeout. And that's Suarez's 4th K after facing only 5 batters. Here's Brooks Lee. He's another switch hitter, so he'll be batting right. .221, 3 homers, 27 RBIs. In the replay, batting .171, homer and 10 RBIs. Suarez deals 8-2, error on a booted ball, potentially. 5-4, that's a G3, so we do potentially have a booted ball. First baseman is Harper. He's got an error rating of 6. And that's a 15, so that's too high, so the batter's just out at first. And that means at the end of, let's say, no runs, no hits, no one left on base. That will be heading to the top of the 3rd inning, and it's still tied 0-0. Okay. TV timeout. Okay, so leading off for the Phillies would be the bottom of the order. The 7-8-9 would be Bryson Stott, some guy named Weston Wilson, and Johan Rojas. All right, you can see my 2024 aptitude for knowing baseball players. I need to improve. So Ober will pitch. Let's see, Ober will pitch to Bryson Stott, batting lefty. That is a 1-8. That is an automatic out of an 8 on the 1D20, means it's an F8. So it's a fly ball to center field. And that's the first out. And that will bring out Weston Wilson. Weston Wilson, in real life, had a .284. Limited playing time, only 88 at-bats. Here he's batting .321. No homers and an RBI. Ober deals 1-5. That's a potential walk. 18 is too high. Weston Wilson says, thanks for the bad pitch, but I'm going to swing anyway. 2-3, that's an S8, so base hit to center field. That puts Weston Wilson on. He's a 4 base runner. Not really, actually, not bad with his attempts. And you pair that with Ober, who is a -1, -2. And Weston Wilson I have here as an attempt at 3. It should automatically be, I think sometimes my database is different than my card set. All right, so let's see. Oh no, there it is. He is a 3. Sorry, as you can see, I haven't played, even my own helper. So he's a 3, but if I look at the strategy roll, you can see it's been reduced to a 2 because Ober is a -1 on his hold. I knew it did it automatically. Okay, so 1 out. Here's Wilson on first. Strategy roll to see what's going on at 18. We got a sack bunt. Yes, we do. So Johan Rojas is going to sack bunt, and again, I haven't played in a month, so this should be fun. So I'm going to say, what do? I say sack bunt, and look, a big sack bunt chart comes up. All right, so first things first, I'm going to roll on the pitcher's card, and that is a 7-7. That is a potential strikeout, but I divide that by 10. And 8 is going to be too high, so there is no strikeout. Next thing I do is I'm going to find the bunt location. You can see here, the 1 through 8. So the bunt is going to be to the catcher, which brings up his ratings. So no change to the range, obviously. GDP mod is -3, runner BR is -2, hitter base running is -2, and the hitter bunt is 0. So now I roll the 1d20 on the bunt chart. I look at Johan Rojas. He is a bunt of 4. That's not changed by the ball going to the catcher. Whoa. That is a 2. So he is a 4 with a 2. And that is a good bunt. So I say, okay, good bunt, sack. Boom, done. And it's updated. And that's a sack bunt. So 2 outs. Hopefully I showed how easy that is. But again, it's like one of those things that, okay, I could look up a chart. I could look, okay, I need to do, change this, change that. But again, based on the criteria that you input on the screen, it kind of makes it hopefully easier as well as kind of giving direction. So that is a sack bunt. And we've got Wilson on second now, and he is no threat to steal on the strategy roll, so I'm not going to do that. And Kyle Schwarber comes up. He's 0 for 1, flew out to left field. The pitch from Ober is an 8-3. Against a lefty, that's an automatic out. A 9 is a G6. So he's going to ground out to the shortstop, Willie Castro, and that is the 3rd out. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on base. We're going to head to the bottom of the 3rd. It's still tied, 0-0. And coming up for the Twins, I'm going to say is Jair, Camargo, Max Kepler, and Diego Castillo. Again, please let me know if I'm saying these names incorrectly. So Suarez, 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 4 Ks. It's not a lot of base runner on yet. The pitch from Suarez is a 7-1. Against a righty, that's a potential walk. It's too high, but only barely so. Camargo does like to walk. The pitch is the swing is a 5-7. That is a G4, so ground ball to Stott. And there's your first out. This brings up Max Kepler, the 8th batter. You can see he's batting 164 over his last 15 games. 236 overall, batted 253 in real life. Hitting a little slump here. The pitch from Suarez is a 6-8, which is a ballpark play. Headed to target field, 3-5. That is a potential home run to right field. I always do this, but I need to look this up. I think it's just basically, okay, you check the rating. It's a 5. It's below his number. So I'm going to say that's a home run. I just need to double check that. And I think I do that every single game that this occurs. Possible home run. Roll 1d20 against the batter's home run rating. Rolls less. Yep, that's a home run. So the other thing I need to do is against empty base situations, which just is he's a -1. So that lowers his rating from a 10 to a 9, so it doesn't matter. All right, so it's a home run. So Max Kepler, 3-5, is a home run to right field. Congratulations, Max. Boom. No more shutout for Suarez. And that gives the Twins a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the third with 1 out. Suarez will try to get himself together and pitch to Diego Castillo, who only had 6 at bats on the year. So I must have picked like him and Camargo, literally the only games they played this year, which is a little crazy. Suarez pitches 4-6. That is a strikeout. 8 is a little too high. Castillo swings. That is a 7-6. And that is a automatic out to the 3. It's a fly ball to right field. That's the second out of the inning. Here in the bottom of the third. The Twins jumping out to that 1-0 lead. That'll bring up Manuel Margot. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Suarez deals. That is a 3-1. Potential strikeout. And that is a strikeout again. That's his 5th strikeout. And that will end the inning. At the end of 3, Twins with Gabe Kepler hitting the home run to right field. It gives them a lead. And they now head to the top of the 4th, leading the Phillies 1-0. Leading off for the Phillies will be Trey Turner. Then we've got Bryce Harper and Alec Bohm. Grapes. All right. So Ober will deal. Trey Turner. That is a 6-4. That is against a lefty. That's an automatic out. Trey Turner's a righty. That's a walk plus. 15. Ooh, that's exactly what he needed. He's a 5, but add that 10 to it. Trey Turner says, thanks. You know what? I don't really want to, but I'll walk this time. Trey Turner, potential to steal on a 2 or less. And with Bryce Harper up to bat, there's no hit and run. There's no sac bunt being called. Ober will pitch. That's a 1-6. That is a potential walk. 15 against a righty is too high for Bryce Harper. So he will swing away. And that, with no runners on, is an S8 check. But without... actually, there are no runners in scoring position. Or is it runners on? I think it's no runners on. Let me double check. You'd think I would have known this by now. Just want to double check that it's not no runners on versus no runners in scoring position. And I think it's a runners in scoring position. So bear with me. Go get a beverage. Optional, no runners in scoring position. There are no runners in scoring position, just a runner on first. So, all right, what do we do? It's a 5-2 for... So there are no runners in scoring position. So that's potential. It's an S8, but we look at Bailey Ober with no runners on. That's a 12. That's a 14. Doesn't matter anyway. So it keeps it as an S8. So now we have to roll the 2 dice to see if Turner is going to be moving to third. That's a 4-4. Base runner, nope. Automatic hold. So we just keep it first and second, like the game already suggests. We could advance him to third if it checked out, but he's just holding. So first and second with nobody out. And then I'll bring up Alec Bohm. Let's see, nothing going on in the strategy roll. So Ober will pitch to Alec, and that is a 7-6. That is an EB. And that's an 8-5. That is an F7. So EB is not going to affect that, but the game will tell you. No error check, but we do have potential to advance a base from second to third. So let's see what's going on here. That is a 6-6. That is an arm. He's going to hold if his arm is a 6 or above. Fly ball is to left field. The arm is a 6, so Margot is going to hold him. So batter out, runner on second holds, I pick. And I say, okay. It's a first out. And that'll bring up JT Realmuto, who's 0 for 1 today. Flew out to right field. Nothing going on in the strategy. We're trying to get these runs in. 5-8 from Ober is a strikeout plus. 14 is a strikeout. So Realmuto goes down, and that's a second out. And that will bring up Nick Castellanos, the last hope for the Phillies here in the top of the 4th inning to tie the game. Ober pitches 3-7. That is a range play on 11. That is a range play because it's a 10. So Nick Castellanos is going to put the ball in play. 6-5. That is a pop-up to the third baseman. The third baseman is Castillo with a range of 1. Awful. Okay. So let's do range play. Pop-up of 5. And let's see. He's a 2, so he's not going to make the play. Turns into an S5. Now, interesting, it automatically did that, and I think that's because it's a pop-up on a failed range play with 2 outs. The runners advance 2 bases because they're running on the play. I thought it was going to bring up the S5 chart, but it's not in that case because the range play, failed range play with 2 outs, the runners were running, so they all advanced 2 bases. So, terrible broadcasting here, but hey, look, he couldn't make the play, so the Phillies score a run. So it's now tied 1-1 with 2 out. Harper on third, Castellanos on first, and that will bring up, oops, gotta move the cards here, Greg. That'll bring up Bryson Stott. Bryson is 0 for 1. He flew out to center field. There is nothing on the strategy roll, so I'll go right to the play. 4-8, that is a potential strikeout. That is a 9. That is too high. Too high for Bryson. Excuse me. 4-5, that is a line out right to the third baseman. Castillo couldn't make the range play, but he does catch the line drive. And we are headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Phillies and Twins tied at 1-1. Okay, so Suarez has pitched to 10 batters, 40 pitches already. He can pitch to 23. So he's a little less than half, so he should get at least 6 innings here. Let's see, Ryan Jeffers, 0 for 1 today. He struck out. He'll go up there again. 2-6. That is a question mark, question mark. 17 versus a righty is a nothing. So we'll get a Jeffers card. That is a 3-3. It's a fly ball to right field. Castellanos has got it, and that's the first out. Willie Castro, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Suarez pitches 3-6. That is a question mark, 15 versus a righty. Castro is a switch hitter. He'll be batting righty against Suarez, and again, that's a nothing. 15, it's out of his range. And 4-1 is a fly ball to right field again. So Castellanos makes the first 2 putouts here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Byron Buxton. Byron, 0 for 1 today, grounded out, but the Twin fans are loving him today because he robbed, I don't even remember who it was, but he did rob a home run at the center field fence. So obviously the star of the game. 1-3 is a potential strikeout. 4, it is a strikeout. That is Suarez's 6K. We will head to the top of the 5th inning. Still Phillies and Twins tied at 1-1. Weston Wilson, Johan Rojas, and the top of the order, Kyle Schwarber will be coming up for the Phils. Top of the 5th inning. All right. Over deals to Weston Wilson. That is a 7-3. It's a strikeout plus. 4 is a strikeout. So Weston Wilson goes down. He's now 1 for 2 on the day. That will bring up Johan Rojas. He sack bunted his first time up. And the pitch from Ober is a 6-2. Potential strikeout is a 6 against a righty. That is just in the range. And that is Ober's 3rd strikeout of the day. And that will bring up Kyle Schwarber with 2 outs and nobody on. Batting 198 his last 300 games. 224 on the year. Ober deals 6-8. That is against a lefty. That's an automatic out. An 8 falls in the F8 range, and that is a 3-up, 3-down inning for Ober. As the Phillies go down meekly in the top of the 5th inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the 5th. Still tied 1-1. Okay. Yeah, that's aligned. All right. Heading to the bottom of the 5th inning to be the 5th hitter, Carlos Santana, followed by Brooks Lee, and some guy with the last name of Camargo. As you can see, I've done my due diligence and done a lot of research. The pitch from Suarez, 3-7, is a potential strikeout. 17 is too high, so Santana's going to put the ball in play. 7-7, that is a star 5, which is an automatic out. Ground ball to the shortstop, Trey Turner. Flicks it to Harper, and that is the first out. One out here in the bottom of the 5th. Nobody on. This brings up Brooks Lee's 0 for 1. He grinded out to first, his first time up. Suarez pitches 6-1. Potential strikeout 15, too high. Brooks Lee 2-7. That is a line out to the second baseman Bryson Stott. He's got it. No problem for him. That's a second out. Here is Yair, I think, Camargo. Catcher. Had 5 games, 6 at bats. 0 for 1 today. Grind out to second base. Camargo is thinking, you know what? I'm gonna play the entire year. This is great. I'm 24 years old. I'm gonna make cash money. Little did he know, did not have much time in his future here. 1-2 hit by pitch -5. His hit by pitch is 0, so that ain't gonna jive. So Camargo will swing, and that's a 1-6. That's a fly ball to the left fielder. Who is that? Weston Wilson. Way to go, Weston. And that is the third out. So we are going to go to the top of the 6th inning. We are still tied here, 1-1. Two offenses that can't get it going today. A nice pitcher's duel, 2024 style. It'll be Trey Turner. So the 2-3-4 are Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Alec Boehm, who I've probably been mispronouncing all night tonight. Ober will pitch to Trey. That is a 4-6. Strikeout plus 18. With the strikeout plus, that is a strikeout. So Trey Turner does not go down often, but he went down tonight. That's his first strikeout. That'll bring up Bryce Harper. He is 1 for 2 today. Lined into a double play and singled to center. Bailey deals. That is a, what are we doing? 6-2. That's a potential strikeout and a 9 against a righty that is 1 too high. So Harper's going to put it in play. He swings 3-8. That is a double to left field. So he gets a hold of one. Margot can't come up with the play. And Bryce Harper is going to get into second easily. And with 1 out now, the Phillies are cooking again. Bringing up Alec Boehm. Bomb. Good grief. Shoot me. He's 0 for 2 today. Grounded to third. Flew out to left field. Don't know how to pronounce his name, but I can say what he did today. Nothing on the strategy roll, so we're not going to roll. Harper is a base runner of 3 on second base. A little less than average. 4-7 from Ober is a hit by pitch, potentially with a -5. His rating is 13. We minus that, it's a 17. So Alec Jones, Alec Blank, is not hit by the pitch. He'll put it in play. 3-7. That is a pop up to the shortstop, Willie Castro. He's got it and does not advance the runner. So a failure by Alex Blank. And that'll bring up JT Realmuto, who's trying to save the day here with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning with a runner on second in Bryce Harper. He can give them the lead. He's 0 for 2, flew out to right and struck out. Ober is up to 22 batters. He can face 23 without feeling fatigued, so this literally might be his last inning. The pitch from Ober, 4-3, is a potential strikeout. 13 is too high. Realmuto refuses to swing and miss, so he puts the ball in play. That's a 5-3, which is an automatic out on a 6. It's a fly ball to right field. And no runs, 1 hit. 1 runner left on second base in Bryce Harper. But the Phillies can't muster another hit. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 6th inning, still tied 1-1. That's probably going to be it for Ober. He did his good 6, and they'll bring the bullpen. Bottom of the 6th, Ranger Suarez still on the mound. He's faced 16 batters. He can face 23, so they could easily, if he doesn't fall apart here, get 2 more innings out of it. He's going to be facing the lefty Max Kepler, who unfortunately did ruin it for him. In the 3rd inning, he hit a home run. So let's see what happens this time. 5-3, that is a potential strikeout. 14 is too high. Kepler says, thanks much, but I prefer to put the ball in play, and he does, and it's a fly ball to center field. Rojas has it, and it's the first out. Diego Castillo, 0 for 1, flew out to right field. Castillo, another one of those guys. Oh, he's the guy with only 6 at-bats. And yet batted .333. Go figure. Suarez deals. 8-8. Ballpark play. We're headed to target field. What do you have, target? A little out of kilter, but we'll say 1-5. That's a single to left field. So this Castillo guy, lighting the world on fire. He's a base runner of 5. Manuel Margot up top of the order. Potential in the strategy role for a hit and run or a sack. 7 says neither, thanks much. So Suarez will pitch, looks over at Castillo. He deals 2-2, strikeout. 16 is too high. Margot swings. That's a 5-6. That is a G4 with a hit and run that potentially could have gotten through the infield, but it's not. No hit and run on. So we do a G4 and possible double play. Fills out the numbers for you. The roll modifier is -1. I look at my 1d20. It is a 1, so it's going to make it a 0. So obviously it's a BX1. It falls in the range of less than or equal to 5. So that's a BX1. So the batter's out at first, and the runner advances. So that puts Castillo on second. The go-ahead run in scoring position for Ryan Jeffers, who's 0 for 2, struck out and flew out to right field. Suarez dealing today, 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits and 1 run, no walks, 6 Ks. That's what they pay him the big bucks. 8-3 from Suarez is a potential strikeout. 16 is too high. Jeffers swings, 5-7. That is a fly ball to right field. That's going to end the inning. Castellanos parks under it, no problem. Where's my F9? There you go. We are headed to the top of the 7th inning. It's still tied, 1-1. Something's gotta give. So, Bailey Ober. Let's see. We've got, for the Phillies, Castellanos, Stott, Wilson, Rojas. So 3 righties. So I'm going to say Twins are going to sub. I'm going to suggest a pitcher. By the way, this screen right here, ugly message. Yeah, wonderful. You can see I have not touched that since I've implemented it. But we'll be making that look more attractive because really, that's what sells the tickets, right? That's what the kids love, is a pretty screenshot. But let me find Jax here so I can bring him in as a suggested pitcher. Hey, Jax. Where you at? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong team. I'm looking at the Phillies. That's embarrassing. All right, so yo, Jax, where you at? I hope you exist. There's Jay Jackson, close. Hello. Lots of relief pitchers in the oh, there you go, Griffin Jax. All right, so we're taking Ober out. He'll sit down, take the rest of the night off. Maybe have a beverage of his choice, and that would be bring up Griffin Jax. Okay, so then I say pitchers, and then I say Ober, and I look, there's Jax. I say accept those changes. And here he is, Griffin Jax, 5-5 with 10 saves, 71 innings pitched with a 2.03 ERA. So he's pretty much was killing it. Looking to keep the Phillies in check here in the top of the 7th inning. He'll be facing Castellanos, Stott, and Wilson. So righty-lefty righty versus the right-handed Jax. Jax, 29 years old. Enjoys long walks on the beach and margaritas. The pitch from Griffin Jax. That is a 3-5. That is a potential strikeout. 18 is too high, so Castellanos is going to put the ball in play. 8-8. Pop up to the shortstop, Willie Castro. He's under it. He's got it. And that's the first out here in the top of the 7th inning. That will bring up Bryson Stott. 0 for 2 today. Lined out and flew out to center field. First time facing Jax, obviously. Jax deals 2-7. Against a lefty that's a blank. So Bryson says, thank you, Mr. Right-hander. I'm going to put this ball in play. That's an 8-3, and that's a base hit to right field. So that'll put a base runner on, a potential go-ahead run. Stott did steal 32 bases on the year. So we shall see. Griffin Jax has a hold at basically a 0/0, so he's not going to affect him at all. So stolen base of 5 or less. Bryson Stott might be going here. That is a 6, so close, but not going this time. Weston Wilson will swing, righty versus righty. Jack's pitches. That's a 1-6. That is a strikeout plus 12. That's a strikeout. So Wilson goes down swinging. Does not advance the runner. Exactly what the Twins wanted. And that will bring up Johan Rojas. 243 on the year. He is 0 for 1 today. Struck out and also laid down a sac bunt. But with 2 outs, obviously he's not going to be doing that. Here we're going to see if Bryson Stott moves. He does not. Again, barely. So I think he was looking to steal. Just couldn't get the good jump. 1-7 from Griffin Jacks. It's a range play to the park. Drama. What does Target Field have to say? That's a 3-6. That's an S8, but it's a range play. Not going to score the run, obviously. We're going to do the blue. Let's see. Range play. S8. And his rating is a 3. That's a 1. He made the play. Nice play by Byron Buxton again. Holy moly, what a kid. So, robs a home run, then it makes a range play in center field to squash in potential run-scoring inning. And let's see, Byron Buxton is going to be able to pay the bills. Let's see. All right, so Suarez is still pitching here in the bottom. Let's see, 7th inning stretch. Okay, get a sip of favorite beverage. Okay. Suarez can pitch to 20. I'm sorry, he can pitch to 23. He's pitched to 20 thus far. Only 66 pitches. I think he's good to go. He'll be facing 3-4-5 Willie Castro, and there's Buxton again. Makes a good play. Of course, he's going to be due up the next inning. 5-5, potential strikeout. 14 is too high. Willie Castro tries to put the ball in play. He does. 6-4. That's a ground ball. Weak to Bryce Harper, and that's the first out. Here's Byron Buxton. 375, 4 homers, 9 RBIs in the month of July. The Twins fans are willing him to do that again. Give me a home run here, Byron. Rob one and give us one. 3-3, potential strikeout. 4, he goes down swinging. Suarez says, not tonight, Charlie. Not sure why he called Byron Buxton Charlie. We'll have to ask Ranger later as to why that occurred. Carlos Santana is now up. Switch hitter, 38 years old. Be batting righty against Suarez. This could be his last batter. 4-3, which I'm sure the Twins will love that. 4-3 is, let's see, he's batting righty, so it's a blank. Santana swings 2-6. That is a power hit to left field, 11 against, that is a double to left field. Okay, so here we go. That means he's faces 23 batters. I always say, like, it doesn't start until the one after his next. So once he faces the 24th batter, that's when he flips in. So Brooks Lee will be up. He's been struggling in July, batting just 163. Let's see. All right. So that'd be lefty versus a righty. Runner on second. So the go-ahead run is on second. With 2 outs here in the 7th, they're going to say, Suarez, bring us home, baby. Suarez says, thanks for the confidence, manager. 6-1. That's a potential strikeout. 15 is too high. Brooks is going to put it in play. And that is an 8-3. That's just a ground ball right to Trey Turner. Flings it across to the first baseman, Bryce Harper. And no runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on base. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's still tied here, 1-1. Are we going to go extra innings? I don't know. All right, so Jax can face 4 batters. He's faced 4 batters. So that's probably going to be it for him. He's a one-and-done kind of guy. Let's see. We're going to suggest a pitcher. It's going to be, the closer, Durant, who later becomes a Philly, believe it or not. There's some trivia for you. So Durant's going to come in here in the top of the 8th. Kind of an odd decision. But hey, man, I ain't the manager. I just follow what the manager tells me to do. There he is, Johan Duran. He can face 5 batters. So he potentially could get into the next inning. And he'll be facing Kyle Schwarber. So basically the top of the lineup. So I guess in a way that makes sense. bring up my pitchers. Give me my Duran. Give me my Duran. There he is. I accept those changes. And Johan Duran will be pitching. He had 23 saves in the year. Did not have a great year. 3.64 ERA. 2025 is much better. So he'll be facing Kyle Schwarber 0 for 3 today. The pitch from Duran, 5-1. Potential strikeout, 11. That's a strikeout. Schwarber goes down again. That's his first K of the day. And that will bring up Trey Turner. Trey is 1 for 2 with a walk. He likes to get on base. 2-7. That's a ballpark play. 2-4 at the ballpark. That's an S9, so single to right field. So Trey Turner's on again. Had 19 stolen bases on the year. Potential to steal here because Duran is a +2 on his holds. This could be potentially interesting. With Bryce Harper up. Does Trey get the steal sign? He does not. Duran deals 6-3. Strikeout +4. Harper goes down swinging. That's the second out. Can anyone get a run? Duran will be pitching to Alec Blank. A 5 or less. He's going. He's not. So Trey Turner will stay put. Duran deals. That is an 8-6. Potential strikeout 3. He has gone down swinging. So, no runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on. We're going to head to the bottom of the 8th inning now. Still tied 1-1. So, Camargo, Kepler, and Castillo, 7, 8, 9. Suarez is tired. So, we're going to sub. And I'm going to suggest a pitcher. And we're going to bring in Alvarado for the Phillies here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Let me find his card amongst these 305 pitchers that every team used this year. Here he is, Jose Alvarado. Hi, Jose. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Craig. Jose throws left-handed. Let's get him here. I'm going to say show pitchers. I'm going to say Alvarado. There you go. I accept those changes. Here comes Alvarado. Pardon me. 4.09 in real life. 2 wins, 5 losses, 13 saves. Here, he's 1-2 with 4 saves and a 3.38 ERA. So he'll face Jair Camargo. 0 for 2 today. 6 at-bats on the year. Half of them today. 5-6. That is a range play on a 10-3. That is a range play. Camargo puts it in play. 2-7 is a G3. Range play on a G3. That's hit to Bryce Harper. He is a range of a 6. I like them odds. That's a 3. He makes the play. Bryce Harper getting at it. Gets it, and that's the first out. Here's Max Kepler. Homered earlier today. The Twins fans will like him to do that again. But now he's going up again. I think Suarez is a lefty too. So lefty versus lefty here. Didn't bother Kepler against Suarez. Let's see if it bothers him here. 4-2. That is a question mark. 10 against the lefty. Home run. Wow, Jose Alvarado. Now I think, again, I need to double check this, but I think I also need to check this against... Wow, so Kepler has a potential here to go deep twice and be the only runs. Okay. Pitcher slip ratings. If you roll in the home run section, it will require reroll the 1d20. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay. So, we're going to see Max Kepler against the lefty. 10 or below, but Jose is a +3 with the bases empty. That's going to make a 13 or below. And sure enough, Max Kepler does it again. Holy moly. Boom! Max Kepler gives the Twins a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Max Kepler. So basically, it's the Max Kepler and Byron Buxton show. Buxton defensively, Kepler offensively, and that's been it. That's really been it today. So 2-1 here on the 1 out. Jose Alvarado looks off in anguish, says, I'm sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. I embarrassed you. But they're saying, we still love you, son. He's faced 2 batters. He's, by definition, has to face at least one more. He'll be facing Diego Castillo, Mr. 6 at bats, batting .750 on the year. Keep me in, coach. I'm ready to play. The pitch from Alvarado, 1-4, strikeout plus. With that plus, that is a strikeout, so Castillo goes down swinging. And that is the second out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Johan Duran? Mr. Save, we shall see, but he did pitch the 8th inning. Let's see if he has enough left in the tank to pitch the 9th as well for the Twins. If it comes to that, here's Manuel Margot, 0 for 3 today. 2 Ks, grounded out. Alvarado with the pitch. Lefty versus righty, 5-8. Against a lefty, that's an automatic out, but against a righty, I can't get the ball over the plate. That's a W+. So that is a walk. Margot is going to walk. He can face up to 5 batters. Ryan Jeffers is up. He's a righty. And we've got just like a ton of righties and switch hitters. So I think what we're going to do is say, Alvarado, I can't have you give up any more runs. So I'm going to go sub potentially here. I'm going to bring in some guy named Banks. As long as he's a righty. I know it makes sense. But again, unfortunately, I don't know these 2024 pitching stats very well. So we'll find out if Banks is a righty, and then we'll bring him in. If he's not a righty, we'll go someplace else. If I can ever find him. He might be one of those guys. I pitch a third of an inning. I like to pitch. Can I? And I don't see a card for you, babes. Yep. So we're going to do this again. So just me another dude. How about Orion Kirkering? And I say, okay. I think, as long as you're a righty. And that's another thing I'd like to add. You know, just some more of that, okay, I'm only going to pick a righty here in this situation. I can certainly do that right now. It's just giving me blindly, oh, this guy will pitch. All right. So Kirkering is a righty. Hooray. He was 5-3 with a 2.29 ERA. That makes a lot of sense. Kirkering. There you are. Get on the mound, Orion. All right, so we've got 2 outs. All he needs is 1 out. Margot is on base. He is barely a threat to steal, a 1 or less. Nothing else going on the strategy roll. 10 too high. So Kirkering will pitch to Jeffers, who's 0 for 3 today. The pitch from Kirkering is an 8-1. That's a potential strikeout. 14 is too high. The righty Jeffers puts it in play. 1-8. That is a, with runners in scoring position, that's an S6. There are no runners in scoring position, so that's just an S6. Now we're going to do the advancement of the infielder. Margot is a 6. He's going to be a +1 because of 2 outs. So S6, he is going to third base. First and third. And now we've got Willie Castro, who is a switch hitter. So first and third, 2 outs. The Twins trying to expand their lead. Willie Castro is 0 for 3 today. He is a switch hitter. Just looking, he's better against righties. Slightly. Ever so slightly. Actually, it's only one thing here. His 1-2 is better against righties, but everything else, he strikes out more against lefties, walks more against righties. I don't know. We'll see. That's why you play the game. Roll the dice, would you? 7-2 potential walk. 10 against a righty pitcher is a walk. So we've got something in play here. It's now bases loaded. Bases are loaded with Twins, and who does that bring up? Mr. Defensive Hero would like to chip in offensively. He's 0 for 3 today. Kirkering stares off in puzzlement. But Byron Buxton, who made a range play to convert a hit to an out, and then also robbed a home run, which is essentially the lead here. Would have been 2-2 at least. It's 2-1 Twins. He's trying to break the game open. Kirkering deals. 2-2. We got a question mark, 10 against a righty that's too high for anything. Buxton puts it in play. 8-8. That is with no runners on. That's an S7. There are runners in scoring positions. That's an automatic S7, and he opens the door. And now we have to see how many runs are going to score. I'm going to say, obviously, at least one. I'm going to think, two are probably going to score. 7-5. You advance on a hit to center, but it's to left field, so no. So it's just one runner moves up. So Buxton gets the single, but I guess Wilson was playing in, cuts off the throw, and it's still bases loaded. Could have been 4-1, still 3-1. And here's Carlos Santana, who doubled to left field. He's a switch hitter as well. Kirkering is like, ugh, I can't find the plate tonight, coach. Nothing on the strategy roll. Kirkering deals 3-5. That is a strikeout plus against a lefty, which is what Santana is. He's batting lefty against Kirkering as a switch hitter. 2, he goes down swinging. That's his second strikeout. And Kirkering breathes a sigh of relief. He didn't shut the door, but he at least didn't blow the door open. It's a 3-1 lead for the Twins as we head to the top of the 9th inning. All right. As RJL likes to say, will there be some 9th inning magic? So I guess we'll all find out together. We are an hour into this broadcast. Hooray. Okay. So let's see. Duran will pitch to Rio Muto. Duran has already faced 4 batters. Oh boy. He can face 5 without fatigue. Rio Muto batting 5th today. So 5, 6, 7 Rio Muto, Castellanos, and Bryson Stott. Let's see what happens. The pitch to Rio Muto, 8-5, is a hit by pitch +1. 16, that is a hit by pitch. Well, you don't want to start off the inning that way. That's exactly what you did. So, leadoff runner on. Duran is at a 5. Again, I give him one more. He is the save guy. So I think what we're going to do is obviously do the strategy roll. Nothing going on, but only barely. And he's going to pitch to Castellanos, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI. We'll see what happens. 1-6. Error on a throw. Of course. Castellanos. 6-7. Fly ball to center field, so should not be an error on a throw. And that's an out. Duran is tired. His arm is bleeding. The paramedics ran out there. He'll be okay, but he's mental and physical anguish. Bryson Stott he's a lefty. Let's see. He's got 1, he's got 2 that convert into a home run. Who do we have in that bullpen? Jax had 10 saves. Bear with me. Why don't you go to the kitchen and make a snack or something like that while I look and see, are there any of the guys in the Twins that year who had any kind of semblance of ability to close out a game? I don't see it. Those are your guys, man. Worst manager, Cole Sands, maybe? He had 4? I think you're going to have to bring in Cole Sands. He's a righty. 9 wins, 1 loss, 4 saves. 3.28 ERA. You got to. Duran's he's exhausted. Again, he was crying out there, I think, at one point. So, let's see. Sub. And pitchers. And I'm going to bring in Sands. There you are. Okay, so Cole Sands on the mound. Tying run is at the plate, and Bryson Stott, who bats lefty. So I didn't do myself any favors by bringing in a righty, but the rest of the guys are righty until we get to Schwarber. All right, 1 out. 3-1 Twins leading the Phillies here in the top of the 9th inning. JT Realmuto on first base. Not going to pinch run because he's not the tying run. Although they probably would have done that in real life, but I'm going to let it go. So, strategy roll. He's not going anywhere. Big shock. The pitch from Sands is a 6-7. That is a home run against a lefty. You got to be kidding me. Quick, let's bring in Cole Sands. And that's a 7 against a righty. He is a 7. Holy moly. Look at that. 6-7. Home run against a lefty. Bryson Stott is a lefty. 1d20 is a 7 against a right-handed pitcher. 7 or less is. Oh, hold on. Runners are empty. Runners with runners on -2. Holy crap. So it's not a home run because Cole Sands says, I don't give up home runs when runners are on base. Wow. That was crazy. Okay, sorry, Bryson. You should have been no man on, but then again, it would have tied the game. So no home run. The replay center looked. Nope, it was foul. So Stott's gonna just put the ball in play. That is a 6-4, and that is with no runners on, or no runners in scoring position. That's a star 1. If Sands can do it, he's a 12. 16s. That's gonna convert. This is crazy. So it's gonna convert into an S1. So we had a robbed home run. We had a home run that I'll say robbed on the empties versus runners on rating. So we kind of had some craziness today. S1, Rio Muto is a 3. He's going to stay at second. So it's kind of station to station running because Craig Scarborough did not decide to pinch run for Rio Muto. So Cole Sands does not give up the home run, but because he can't control with no runners in scoring position, and actually he's got a good rating. It's just the 16 was too high, so that converted automatic out to a single. So first and second, tying run now is on first base with only 1 out, and up steps Weston Wilson, the righty. I'm gonna look to see if there's a pinch hitter. We're looking at some potential 9th inning magic here, kids. So Cody Clemens, he had a lot of pinch hits against righties. So did Brandon Marsh. Yep, it's Brandon Marsh time with that beautiful haircut. Make yourself known, Brandon. He's like, okay, I can do this. So Brandon Marsh will pinch hit here in the top of the 9th inning. He batted .249 on the year with 16 home runs and 60 RBIs. We're going to say pinch hit. And there's Wilson. He's at bat. You see the AB there. So I'm going to find, who is it? Brandon Marsh. There he is, B. Marsh. So he's going to pinch hit and hopefully save the day here for the Phillies. Batting lefty against Cole Sands. First and second, 1 out. What kind of craziness can we see this time? A pitch from Sands, 7-2. Range play on a 10. It is a range play with a roll of 6. Brandon Marsh puts it in play, 8-3. Against a lefty that's a fly ball. Against a righty that's a double to left field. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, so double to left field. Margot is a 4. And we're gonna look at this roll, and I haven't looked at it yet. So 8-3. And that's a 6. He does not make the play. Holy moly. I'm seeing some 9th inning magic. So 7-7, he does not make the play. Yeah, it was. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. No. I did the 1d20. That ain't it. We need to roll the 1d8. Good grief. That would have been a huge mistake. All right, so 4 or less, or an 8. He does not make the play. Failed range. Way to go, Margot. All right, so it was a range play. So the runners only advance the number of bases. So it's 3-2 now. Marsh does come up big, but they didn't know if he's going to catch or not. So no chance for advancement from, no chance to score from first. All right, second and third, 1 out. Here's this Rojas dude who did play a lot. So Cole Sands, this is his 3rd batter. Should we walk him and face Schwarber? No, I think the infield is going to be in. Wow, okay. Infield is going to be in. They're going to try and cut off the run. Or should they walk him? No, because it's just, no, that's the go-ahead run is on second. They're going to play the infield in. All right, so here we go. Sands is going to pitch to Rojas. The pitch. 7-5. That's a potential strikeout. 8. against a righty. That is exactly a strikeout. So Rojas goes down swinging. Twin fans draw a sigh of relief, but it's not over yet. Now that brings up Schwarber with 2 outs. The tying run on third, the go-ahead run on second. Schwarber is a lefty. You're not going to walk him to face Trey Turner because Schwarber does walk, but he doesn't hit for high average. It's 0 for 4 today. They've kept them off the base. So let's see. Trey Turner 295. A little less than average walking. I think either one of these guys is gonna suck for the Twins to face, but you gotta try and get him out. This is your dude, right? You've already given up your 2 guys who are the potential stoppers. So this is crazy. 2 outs. Top of the 9th. Twins leading 3-2. Infield is back now. Runners on second and third. Kyle Schwarber up 0 for 4 today. Cole Sands, 1/3 of an inning, has already given up 2 hits. Here's the pitch from Sands. The crowd is going insane. 8-2, question mark, 20 is too high, so it's out of range. So Schwarber's going to put the ball in play. And that is an 8-8. That's an automatic out. Holy moly. That's a G4. Brooksley picks it up, tosses it to Santana. That is your 3rd out. Wow. That was a crazy game. That was a good game. That was insane. 3-2 is the final. The Twins pull it out. Let's see. If I check the box score. Oh boy, 3-2. Wow. So Alvarado gets the loss. Duran gets the win. Sands does get the save, though it was not a spectacular one. Kepler had the 2 home runs. They got the insurance run in the bottom of the 8th inning. Could have been more than one insurance run, which could have changed the complexion of the game as well. Buxton had the range play. He robbed the home run, which was my first robbed home run. Took an hour and 3 minutes to play. So we've been on here, let's see, an hour and 12 minutes. I guess I was talking for 9 minutes. That's enjoyable. Anyway, so this is for debugging, so I can see like every single play. Yeah, there you go. Kepler, 2 home runs. So his 6th and 7th home run, 37 RBIs. Bryce Harper has 30 doubles. Wow. Rojas had the sack bunt. Runners in scoring position. Phillies were 2 for 10. The Twins were 1 for 4. That was a great game. There's the Buxton Web Gem. Great game. Final score: Minnesota 3, Phillies 2. So hopefully, you got to see some more of the helper. Hopefully it still piques your interest. Hopefully you can see the direction I continue to go with it. Try to make it look like broadcast. You kind of give you the narrative of the time period. Make it ideal for broadcasting. If you don't want to broadcast, you don't have to do that either. But just to kind of put you in the game and build a world around you. So if you want to do replays, hopefully this piques your interest. Okay, so that being said, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for the comments and everything. Thank you so much for all the likes and certainly the follows and everything like that. So much appreciated. Again, would really like to get more videos out here, but only really want to do so when I've got something to show, right? I don't want to waste your time. So that being said, thank you so much, and thank you for your support, and I will see you all soon on the other side, and I'm going to stop recording. So take care. Have a good night.